Koku.
What's up, Drew?
Welcome back. We are in the middle of a war.
It's a war going on outside. Nobody's safe from.
I feel like, I took a few hits from some sort of random illness and I fell out and I woke up and there's a new female rap war going on or like a new phase of the female rap war. And I
This
need
one,
to catch up.
this was a little wilder than usual. Like this has gone crazy, and it got to the point now where even like I normally within this type of situation, I tend to find Cardi to be a little bit more reasonable and like y'all, could y'all just leave me alone?
Mhm.
But this time, Cardi really got her hands dirty too, and I was a little shocked about that.
All right, so the question of the day is, can women be friends?
That's a good ass question because I'm not even knowing right now. I'm not
Like
even I'm not
who
even
who was friends? Like who were the
who.
friends in
Well,
when they
well,
start?
well. Here's my sticking point is that none of these people were friends in the first place, and I feel
Mm,
like the problem that a lot of people have is attempting to find friendship and commonality that's like a loose connection. Um,
uh,
you don't have to be friends because all of y'all rap. That to me is not enough. Y'all not from the same place. Y'all ain't been through the same things. Some of you, as people like to say, some of y'all are industry plants. Some of y'all really got it out the mud. Some of y'all from the streets. Some of y'all live from the cul-de-sac. So
right.
there's not really a thing here where y'all have to be friends just because y'all rap or just because, oh my God, look at me and my baddies. Like, I especially, because this conversation came up again before, remember with Erica Banks, my friends have to
Right.
look a certain way.
Right.
And it's like, so the friendship here is based on when you go out looking a certain way. What are you, a fucking pimp? Like, what's wrong with you?
What exactly happened in this? Because like I thought, maybe I'm naive, but I thought that at least Cardi and Megan the Stallion were friends, like friends in a way that celebrities can be friends. But like, what happened in this part? Why is Cardi riled up? What is she
So
even
I
involved
think to the extent that the industry will allow, I think
in?
that I feel like what I viewed as something that seemed authentic is that I believe that Cardi and especially Cardi and Meg gave us a window into what it's like to be in this industry and
Mhm.
to genuinely appreciate your moment. And I
Right.
think that they believe that you don't have to play by the rules in the sense that you don't have to be the last one standing or like, kill everybody in your wake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can be one of many and all the girls can get together and be friends.
Yes.
But that has slowly proven to not necessarily be true because what you're dealing with when you're dealing with people and personalities is sometimes, insecurity rears its ugly head. Now you have individuals who are threatened by your existence and they need to knock you down.
Right.
As we've seen with Nicki Minaj, I'm just use her as an example here because it's just proven and true. Nicki Minaj has had a career where for over a decade she was the only woman standing.
Right. Right.
Like she just literally, I mean, the only woman in the industry that had any kind of real influence
Mhm.
or presence. There are many other rappers, people, and like, because I hate people say like, oh, well, people aren't real rappers, not around anymore, blah blah blah. No, Nicki's not the only person that writes her lyrics, and there's just other people that do too. But you're just not talking about them because maybe you're not seeking out those kinds of rappers. But unfortunately, also those people are not considered bankable
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
in the same sense.
So,
We,
so what is it that, what's the criteria to be in that lane where you're like biggest female rap star? And does that lead to some kind of conflict? Like what is happening there?
I think the criteria to be biggest female rap star, again, you have people like, although Nicki Minaj is of all these women, has had the longevity
Right.
and has the sort of the chart making, chart topping, like she has the history that has proven her pedigree in that sense.
Yes.
I think where I am just objectively seeing her being bothered is that Nicki cares about things that people don't care about. Like
Mm,
from a hip hop perspective, Nicki cares about authenticity in the sense where Nicki's like, yo, I write my raps.
she does. She
She writes
does.
her raps and she cares about that. And I as a backpacker, I understand that, right? But these people don't care about that.
Hmm.
And do you see like what performs well and let's just say even like what in the drill landscape? Ain't
Right.
nobody looking at no super lyrical miracles and drill.
Yeah, no, there's no crazy pen game going
I'm
on.
calling out my ops and I'm getting myself entangled in some fucking Rico shit and I'm getting arrested and I'm going to kill you. That's what drill music is about.
I mean, and I think the female version of that is like, you know, also calling out ops. Also, like, your man wants me, slash, I don't need no man, slash, I'll take your man.
Yeah. And remember pussy bars.
Right, a lot of pussy bars, wild, dope pussy. Everybody has the best pussy, which is, you know, that's transferable because the men do that too. Like,
yeah,
it's definitely transferable criteria. But I'm wondering, like, there seems to be something here where appearance, and especially like a Meg, well, like both Meg and Cardi though, like with a Meg especially though, it seems like maybe there's some resentment of youth and like just the freshness that Meg brings.
And I've said this before and I will say it again, and this is not attacking any particular individual. There are people in this world, as they age out of their youthfulness, like a lot of their identity or who they are and how they feel, a lot of their youth is tied into that. So some people, the older that they get, rather than maturing into that, they do get resentful. Meg is like 5'10". She is a natural body, a beautiful woman, like 20 something, having fun, twerking all over the world. And it's like, you know what? This is great. It's fun. And it's just a real like happy-go-lucky existence. The kind of existence that you would expect from a collegiate 20 something, which shout out to Meg because she did walk the stage and she got her degree. But it's like she's doing all the things people that are 24, 25, 26 do.
Can you talk about that for a second? I feel like Meg's story is changing a little. Like, I feel like it was that. And then some things happened in the last week where I was just kind of like, oh,
it changes what you could possibly think of the kind of person that she is. And this is what I have to say to that. I mean, you know, nobody is perfect. And this is not in defense. It's just an observation, right? So there's a lot to her story that doesn't really fit so neatly. And I think it's really hard for people to accept that because we know what kind of situations that she's been in.
Yes.
But it's like, again, what led to the situations?
Yeah, well, okay. I'm going to get into some specifics here because the baby, he claimed that Meg and him were having an affair, like some sort of physical affair. And, you know, one thing that people are saying, or like that's the debate right now, is who's lying, right? Like, is the baby lying because his credibility is in the toilet just generally right now? And her credibility, like we're talking about her story that's been established, is at a really high level. And I tend to think it's somewhere in between. Like, I don't think it's like he's completely like without credibility and she's completely like unassailable and trustworthy. But I do feel like, yes, like last week, it seemed like she took a little bit of a hit with this storyline, even if people still generally think the baby is a sleazebag. I
think it's one of those two things can be true things. I think people generally look at him as like a sleazebag, and you know, especially with the things with him and Danny Lay.
Yeah.
Like the handling of that situation just seems so like it just made him look really
he's
like really insensitive and just mean about the whole thing. But I also think that, like, you know, the reason why I believe the baby's account of events in this situation, which is this is my truth.
Oh, wow.
This is my truth. Is because I never could make sense of why the baby brought out Tory Lanez at the height of the shooting scandal. And when he brought him out on stage, and I believe Meg was also on that tour, and the baby has a song with Meg Thee Stallion. So it's like, you're kind of betraying me as a friend. Like, so what's all of this right here? So I feel like the only kind of person that would do that is a person that feels like their agenda wasn't satisfied, or they feel away, or they're bitter, or, you know, upset about something.
The baby's giving, like, it's weird because he's giving like closeted, but he's also giving like bros over hoes energy. Like I think that move was like, oh yeah, like I made good with the bro because we know about her.
I think that was more so because I believe that whatever they make, because I pass no judgment on whatever decisions that people make in their lives, their personal lives. I really, really not. I have to keep saying this. I really don't care.
I couldn't. Like, even if I were, I couldn't. With the kind of decisions I make, I could not do that.
I just don't care. And I think that a lot of times, and this is kind of besides the point, but like, and people, when I say that, people get upset because they're like, no, but he did this to me. And I'm like, but your dynamic in having a sexual relationship with somebody is very different with me having a platonic relationship with somebody. And I don't understand why I should judge a person for being a bad partner when our relationship has nothing to do with anything sexual. Like, so that happens a lot. Like, people do that where they be like, girl, you know, you shouldn't be friends with him because he cheated on me. It's like, what is that? And why are you trying to control my friendships and my relationships?
So what do you think happened with Meg and Tory and the baby? Like, when
I think that Meg and the baby did sleep together. They're both young in industry, and they just, you know, they were just doing something to do something. I believe him. I believe they slept together. I don't think he just said it to say it. And it's not being challenged because he probably got receipts. Like, bitch, you sent me some news and this and that. So she probably just know better than to try to push back and make it like, oh, he's lying on me. You know, because Black folks, we think these types of things through. We're not the Kardashians where we just lie on people.
But you know what? It was like, there was definitely a whole contingent of like, we never believed Black women, and this is just another case. And then she did the Gayle King interview, and Gayle King is just such a smart, astute journalist, right? So it was, I think in that sense, it was a really great look to that, because it's like, Gayle King doesn't care what Tory Lanez is doing. She's not trying to get the Tory Lanez interview. You know what I mean? Like, she knows what the fame and sort of notoriety of someone like Meg Thee Stallion is and can be. And I think Meg used that moment really well. But Gayle, like a smart, grown-ass person in the room, was like, so were you having a sexual relationship with him? And Meg definitely was on some like, excuse me? Like, so she hesitated big time.
People will always tell you the truth without telling you the truth.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's either the stuttering type of person where it's like that, or usually even like the loudest person in the room is always lying. Just from my, like, the person that wants to get ahead of something and wants to be loud and play victim. I never pay attention to that first. I pay attention to absorb it just so I can be like, oh, this is where you come from, this is the angle. Now, what's the real story? What really happened?
So,
you know what I'm saying?
Here's another question. Is the real question, can women be trusted? Is the real question. Can women be trusted?
Well, you know what's funny? Because we know you and I saw that clip earlier.
Yes.
Where there was this random podcast, people that you and I had never seen before. And the man and the woman are sitting there in the podcast with those kind of like those angles, those choppy angles, as always.
I have the clip.
You have it in there?
You want to play it?
Let's play it. Let's do it. He's like, oh, no, I got you.
We get the clip up because it's ready. You know what I'm saying? We got that. So, yeah, this is the clip.
Okay.
Behavior when it comes to how we relate to y'all. No, we don't understand y'all. No, we don't like y'all. Yes, y'all are very irritating.
And what for y'all?
No, this is about men. Don't conflate. I'm sexually attracted to women.
And that's the only thing that there is. So you don't love us. You don't want to be with us. You don't even like us. You just want to us, and then you deal with the rest of it. I'm talking about there are men in the world that literally they don't like women, and you
like
can tell.
Women as far as what?
You don't like certain things about women.
That's okay. And I don't like certain things about my other male friends. I don't like certain things about everybody. There are things that we love about women.
You haven't named any. What do men love about women that is not that has nothing to do with their vagina?
So that clip to me, that clip was unhinged.
Yo, just the exact thing you was talking about, where it's like people who tell the truth.
I'm telling you, they just don't tell you. I think in many more instances that we don't even realize, we're just not paying attention to body language, or we're just not paying attention. Many more people will tell you the truth than you even freaking realize. And in that clip, that man told us he's an incel. He told us he hates women.
Hold on, can I stand up in his defense for a second? So I found an article. It's a study that was done about what's called normal marital hatred. It's about normal marital hatred. No, it's a real thing, and I think it's like it's worth noting. But normal marital hatred is real, and here's what to do about it. No relationship is perfect. Try to start thinking of yours as an ecosystem that you share with someone else. Now I've got a paywall. I'm not going to do all that, but I was like, I didn't need much more than the headline. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, nah, yeah, we be hating each other out here. Like, I think, though, I think this is like both proven with social psychology, evolutionary biology, that it is very normal to have competitive or even like animosity type feelings to a close partner. I think it's very, very normal. I don't think it is normal or good or healthy or sustainable to have that toward an entire gender. Like, and I do think there are a lot of people, both men and women, who have completely unhinged, very biased views toward the entire gender. But I do think that it's very normal to be like, you know what, I really fucking hate you right now. Like, yo, the way you be doing this is like, it's really getting on my fucking nerves, yo. Like, and that's very real. And I think he was starting to get at that. And then she really cornered him with that one question. And he looked crazy.
He didn't know how to get out of it.
He couldn't.
Okay. So I don't know. I don't know what this says about me, about my personality, but like, I do not understand jealousy as an emotion. I've never had, and I tell people that.
Professional jealousy, you never had like a little professional jealousy, because I know some people who haven't had romantic jealousy who have other types.
Like when I say, okay, so let's say from a professional standpoint, I'll be like, yo, I know I'm doing all the things that I need to do to get to where I need to get to. So what's the issue? What is happening at the core here? Because I have been professionally sabotaged, so I know what that's like. And I've been in situations where like somebody just didn't see it for me, where I saw it for myself. But it was like, it wasn't like I was jealous of somebody who they saw it for. It was more so like, how can they see it for me? So I'm always thinking more so like, how do I get ahead, or how do I work this out? What's happening here? So I not professional. That's like, oh my God, I can't believe that this bitch wanted Emmy. Like I wouldn't. I don't know how to feel like that. Like it does not. It wouldn't come natural to me.
I mean,
people be like that. Like no, it'd be like, and listen, it'd be a lot of people out there that's just really on some like, oh, she thinks she cute. Oh, this person thinks that they all of that. And it's like, you are simply like, you're manifesting like really negative energy about somebody that ain't even like thinking about you. Yeah. I've had people like, cause you know, let me tell you something again with me. Cause like I said, I'm a vault, right? So I don't be going reporting back, and I'm just not like all this internet shit. It's nothing to me. Cause I'm like, I am acquainted with street people. So it's certain things that this don't matter. Like this has no energy to me. So like I'll have a lot of stuff comes back to me, and it'll be like, oh, I don't fuck with her. When that person be like, well, they said this ain't, I'm like, all right, whatever shit. Like keep it to yourself. I don't give a fuck why the person don't fuck with me. But then the person can't even necessarily articulate a thing. It's like, bitch, we ain't never got money together. I didn't fuck your man. I didn't fuck your dad.
That's more likely to happen between women.
Yeah, and it'd be shit like that. I'm not competing with you. I don't wear designer. I'm wearing earrings today because my sister sent me some earrings. She got me FUBU earrings. I haven't worn earrings in years. So I dressed it up today. But I'm just saying, like, it's just certain things that don't matter to me. Like, I exist in a universe where I'm only doing things that benefit like my like ascension and like doing dope shit. Like, I'm not worried about being cute at the club or like, oh my God, she looks better than me. Like, I don't think about things like that.
So you feel like that you've maybe encountered a lot of women who are really externally focused and like compared to other women, whether it's professionally, whether it's personally, emotionally, physically in the attraction spectrum, but you've managed to be outside of that emotionally, but it's so much to navigate among women because it happens constantly.
When I'm not gonna say that I personally deal with it often, because it's like, for instance, like it's a lot of women that think that they can connect on a gossip level. And so like they'll be like, girl, guess what? So-and-so. Once you start getting into that, they're like, oh, you know, so-and-so pregnant by so-and-so. Like people start talking, they'll realize I'm not talking back with you. You just data dumping bullshit to me. Right. Now, I'm saying like I'm not. You know, there's a hypocritical universe in that too. I'm not saying that bullshit be interesting, right? Like we are all entertained by the nonsense. I'm not acting like I'm above it all. I'm just saying like, what is the dynamic here that you believe that the only connection you can make with me, or that you think is a fruitful connection, is sitting here talking shit about other people?
Right. But I do think that like that is a big driver of the current female rap wars. Like,
yes,
that's a huge reason why I think this is actually now more about the fans and what they feel each of these people represents instead of anything about the music.
I think when you talk about like the sort of so-called like sisterhood and like, let's all get together when the girls is all going to do raps, like it's sad because you see where people start off. Like right now, for instance, you have Glorilla and Ice Spice.
Yes.
I love them both. I love them both. And I feel like actually Glorilla just it's so freaking dope. Glorilla just did a dope promo for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I loved it.
And it was so Memphis, right? And it was just it was so black and so Memphis, and it's just so dope. And I'm like, this is the energy we're talking about. Like really be a voice for the people. You know what I'm saying? Because Memphis is a dope ass place. I don't care what nobody say. Well, I don't know who's saying, whose sources are saying, but I've always loved Memphis because the Memphis to, because I told you I was born in Chicago. And that Memphis to Chicago pipeline, like we are all like either you was born in Memphis or you was born in Chicago. And a lot of us, we just got a lot of the same family connections. It's a lot of that. So anyways, my heart is with Memphis. Like I feel a kinship with Memphis people. But I say all that to say there's that level where it's like those people start off. Now y'all beefing. Now you're making people feel uncomfortable. Because like Glorilla, the environment Glorilla coming from, she's really, when she say on the gang, she means on the gang. She's not just talking ish. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that to suggest that she's a violent character or somebody that people are menacing. I'm not saying it that way. I'm just saying it's a different type of loyalty.
Right.
She ain't pussy.
She's like, yo, if we beefing, like this is
like what is it?
Shit.
Like it's some real shit. What is it? Not no like, you know what I'm saying? Like I understand that mentality. I understand it. Some of these people just be online talking crazy and creating these little fake beefs, and they just be living in their own head.
Okay, who's living in their own head right now? How did Cardi get involved? I'm trying to understand. Like she seemed to be somehow like floating above it for a good amount of time.
Like I told you before, I think that Cardi does a very good job of at least attempting to feel and like to work on being above it all. I think Cardi responds to things that make her feel uncomfortable. Like, yo, enough is enough, guys. I think Cardi is more like that.
Okay.
So, AKBAR V in the middle is the one that had been antagonizing Cardi and sneak dissing her. Like I told you, passive aggressive stuff is never going to win in my world. You're never going to win being passive aggressive in my world. I promise you. So, unfortunately, AKBAR V is like throwing rocks and then hiding her hand.
Hold up. Wait, who the fuck is AKBAR V? I've literally never heard of
I know everybody's been asking me. They're like, who the hell is this girl?
Who is AKBAR V?
And why is she one of the girls?
Yeah, exactly.
So AKBAR V is one of the up and coming rappers, the female rappers that is on the scene. She's in the love and hip hop universe. Okay. And some of the things people might know her from, if you even know who she is. Like, again, it's not unusual to not know who she is, but if you know who she is, she
can I get a bar like from the hit, like what?
Well, Nicki just featured her.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah.
Is she like, I don't know, would we get copyright?
So Nicki did that. No, we can't. Like, yeah, I'm tired of that shit because they did that to me before. I can sit here and say shit, goddamn, pussy, dick, but I can't just just let off a little clip for journalistic integrity. No, but I'm playing. But Nicki did a Super Freaky Girl remix. It was like a Queen remix, right?
Okay.
And it's JT on there.
Okay.
Because Carisha is a journalist, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Carisha's my favorite. She's my favorite journalist. Okay, I told you that. I'm gonna defend Carisha to the end. Bia's on it. The really dope thing about it is that Katie Got Bands is on it. Shout out to Katie Got Bands because she's really, really the queen of drill. And a lot of people don't realize that. Like, she is really the queen of drill. So she got on the mix too. And then AKBAR V got the look from that. And Malibu Mitch as well. So she got all these girls together.
Okay.
And unfortunately, what frustrates me about this is that AKBAR V, rather than living in this moment, because a Nicki look is always going to be a good look.
Okay.
Nicki could just tweet you on Twitter and just be like, yo, who the hell you think you are? That might get you 500 followers.
That's true.
They be like, well, who the hell are? Who do you think you are? Let me find out.
Yeah, exactly.
Good or bad. If Nicki's engaging you in any sense, then that's a look. So you need to use that, to your advantage and do something good with it. Instead, Akbar V is one of those people that kind of lives in the kind of world where she thinks that loyalty means inheriting also drama from the person that you're trying to be loyal to. And so to me, I find that very childish.
Listen, I also have to ask because we're on a theme, and I feel like from what I remember from high school and just things that have happened with women in conflict around me, I've seen that happen just like on a ground level. Like, yo, you want to be cool with me, you want to be down with my clique, you inherit our drama. And I feel like that is a very specifically kind of female dynamic I've seen play out a lot of times.
Yeah, women are very, if you're not with me, you're against me. Like, I find that a lot. I think with men, you guys have this ability to where you guys could like knock each other out like two black eyes apiece. And maybe a couple days later, y'all niggas is hooping in the park. Like, it's just men have a way of just like, you know what? It was just a time. It was just a moment. You guys are able to disconnect and just make more like sense of like, okay, well, it just happened. With women, I feel like it's just bitterness. It could be nastiness sometimes. It could be straight up lies. I want to address what gentleman rated in the chat said. I was told I have the conscience of a child because I had a difficult time unleashing my inner ruthlessness in a corporate environment.
Okay.
Gentlemen rated, let me address that specifically because I absolutely 1,000% can relate to that point specifically. As a child, I don't even want to embarrass myself and tell y'all when I last had a fight because I just should not be fighting people, right? But like, it's just certain things that just don't work for me. I just don't do disrespect on any kind of level. And that's why, like, my online persona, y'all never gonna see me aggressing somebody online. I just don't have time for that. Like, I might clown and like on some YouTube shit, like, oh, okay, you bitch ass nigga. Like, I might say that to somebody. But like on some real, like, we outside type stuff, I don't talk like that. Right. I just don't, I don't give that any kind of energy. I don't try to act like I'm a tough guy, but I just don't talk like that because what I've seen, what I've experienced, things have consequences. Mm-hmm. So I don't just rattle my mouth. I don't just go shouting, like, and acting like, I have this and that. And that's actually, that gentleman rated what you didn't even realize is that was kind of central to my issue with this thing is that a lot of wars are fought on behalf of men having to uphold our honor. You can't, like, we're talking about baby daddies, husbands. We're talking about, that's the mother of my kids. We're talking about people calling the goons up, like, yo, this person was disrespecting me. People not wanting to look bad. People not wanting to stop the bag. That stuff becomes very serious in certain environments. That stuff is not to be played with. Right. So I don't play with stuff. I don't say stuff. I can't take back. And I don't play with stuff that could have really, really grave and horrible consequences. And a lot of these folks just don't know what that's like or don't know where that comes from.
How do you feel like Cardi is positioned in all that? Like, do you think she tries to stay out of real conflict, or she doesn't mind? If she's triggered by something, she's going to jump in.
I think Cardi, again, to me, she comes off like, yo, I'm trying to just live my life and do my thing. I am being kind of attacked by this woman who's like weaponizing her fan base to make me out to be some sort of bad guy. And it's like, I'm out here raising 2 kids and I got a husband. Like, let me just live my life. So like, that comes off like that. But then I feel like Akbar V is kind of like, because she got her own goddamn issues, she's hearing the message or the call from Nicki in the wrong way. Mm. There's no way that Nicki is going to keep Akbar V around, to the extent that Akbar V will continue to make herself look crazy. But Nicki would not have her as a close confidant because Nicki's also not a stupid person. She's an intelligent person. She just uses her powers sometimes for she weaponizes her powers. Let's put it like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, clearly, because in this case, it seems like Akbar is jumping out the window.
Subbing, trying to, because Nicki gave her the look, and now she's just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna show you, and Cardi this and that. So Akbar is saying all kinds of crazy stuff about like allegedly what has happened, even with like Offset and like tagging people and calling all kinds. And then Cardi was like, yo, enough is enough. You ain't even got custody of any of your kids.
Wow.
And you got 5 kids and 5 baby daddies. What's going on? What's going on with you?
Okay. So some credibility is being called into question.
Right. So my thing is, and again, that's where I jumped off the train. I was like, all right, cool, y'all. Because I don't care what it is or who is speaking. I'm not really with the whole coming at kids type shit or just like that kind of thing. I wasn't feeling that. So I felt like that was a low moment for Cardi. Whereas I think Cardi typically sort of tends to be more above board and just like, yo, I'm just trying to, let me just show y'all through the work.
But then she, in her low moment, like she goes low. So she showed the clip of, this is AKBAR in a fight, I believe. AKBAR V in a fight. I don't know how long ago this is.
I think it was like a couple, well, because before you even get to that, the AKBAR V is going to look a little bit different to you guys because AKBAR V has had kind of gastric bypass, like she's lost a ton of weight. Yeah. So her aesthetic has changed over time too. So this is really the footage. This is the footage.
All right. So let's take a look. And hopefully she has them hands because, you never want to look wild out there.
She got laid out.
Dramatic takedown. And then the knee. They said stay down. Oh man, they picked her back up. Oh,
you got knocked in the head. She got rocked.
Man.
She got rocked that summer, B. You know it's bad. Y'all start biting each other's digits. That's when you know it's down bad.
Not enough hair to pull, so let's just bite a finger.
Yo, you know it's bad.
Man, she was, this was early. This was early stages. You could tell. This is early stages.
Yeah. The church of Kimbo Slice is not being respected.
Nah, well, there's a couple classic moments in that fight. I'm gonna go back to it because there's a couple.
Let's rotate. Let's go.
Strategy just kind of like went a little bit off. So all right, she's locked up. She gets locked up, that's dangerous. If you don't have wrestling moves, you can't pull somebody to the ground. You don't have anything to leverage your weight. Getting locked up, getting in a wrestling match is always going to be to your disadvantage when you're a striker. And it seems like AKBAR is trying to get into some kind of like hands striking match, and that's not advantageous to her given her opponent. Because her opponent, as you can see, has them hands too. Like her
opponent is a fighter. Like she has the hands.
Right. Yeah. It's left, right.
And I think that you can always tell when someone doesn't fight. Like they think that there are like rules to this shit. And it's like, no, if I'm fighting you, like we just gonna go. I'm on go mode.
Right, exactly. And then the level above that is like, I'm on go mode and I can use some of your flaws to my advantage, which I think her opponent does here. Very skillful. And
if I'm gonna fight somebody, I'm also I'm not gonna give you something to grab.
Yeah.
So like if I've never been in a fight and like had like micro braids. You know what I mean? Right. So in this case,
is this a wig on AKBAR?
No, that's definitely not no wig. Wouldn't nobody buy no wig like that.
Okay, no, it's very short hair.
Just loose hair. Yeah.
Got you. I noticed AKBAR doesn't have much of a left. She's really just kind of swinging right to the body. And that left is caught up in the lock. I don't know if she's really got much effectiveness with that.
If you're going to get fighting mad, I think you should focus on your training.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially in the streets fighting. Like.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Overhand right lands. I think that really stunned her. The overhand right, and then she gets taken down.
Then it was a wrap. She know how to.
It goes the knee to the head.
Ah.
And the knee to the head, the really interesting and effective part about that is that it breaks the lockup because it just shocks you. Like if you're not used to getting hit in the chin with a knee, it's just like, whoa. Like
yeah.
And you can tell she gets a little overwhelmed
Yeah.
I don't know. AKBAR, maybe rap life is good for her though, because like this is like it gets you out of
not you think, right? Keeps you out the streets. Maybe you can get your kids back. Everything.
This is not where she belongs. That fight on that playground or parking lot, that's not where she belongs.
But even in speaking about her life, like I said, there's some things about her life that are uncomfortable truths that, again, I'm not here to shame somebody for having struggled in ways that, like, I don't know, what led to the things, right? But in addition to not having custody of her children, it's also been said that allegedly she was on drugs.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot to her story that leads to, to that.
So she's team. It's giving coke. She's
team. That's why it's giving coke started trending again today.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So it's like coke teams up with coke, and then they start like randomly taking shots at people subtweeting, right? And then people get. I agree with you in terms of the passive aggressive stuff. People get tired of that. Like they know you're talking about them.
It's like you're talking about these people. You're obviously like your hands are not clean. Now you want to play victim and act like, oh my God, this was a low blow. But I want to say this thing about AKBAR V when I don't agree with Cardi B leaking the revenge porn or just like talk. I just think that was her low too.
Yeah.
But somebody else pointed out in the comments like, child, don't believe nothing AKBAR said because she used that cover for one of her songs.
Wait, so she used
yes.
What? She used what exactly?
somebody named, hold on, Shonda said, clearly Cardi nor AKBAR can fight. There's also a video on YouTube, a video of Cardi B getting beat up. Oh, okay. Well, I will say this. In the case that Cardi just pled guilty to, the one where she was beat up the stripper, or had the stripper chicks beat up, she had somebody go beat them people up.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying about these things are like people play so much with things. And it's just certain people and certain environments, certain situations that are not to be played with.
Like it's like your fave Jalen Rose says about the NBA. Though nobody's in the NBA to fight. Like once you're a female rap star, you're not a fighter. You're not around to fight. Like you're gonna look like. Did you see homegirl that was in the MMA fight and she was giving the intervie? Like
she was not like I'm talking about like
that's not your world.
Like baby. Like her parents wouldn't have even known who she was. It'd have been like I recognize my baby's voice. She was down and bad.
Yo, just stay out of fighting. But that's why it's so weird with Nicki and her influence on people because she will lure you into doing something that's like not even good for you. Like that would be
people
really
don't realize that because a lot of people just want to fit in. And they don't realize until it's too late that you're being used. This person has used you, and they made a fool out of yourself. And they've essentially created an environment. Like let me tell you something, because me, I get into all the psych stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Get some water in there. Here's what Nicki does, and this is what people like that do. Nicki will create an environment where.
As soon as you say the word Nicki, I'm replacing it in my head with women. Like every time you say that. Every time you say that.
Nicki creates an environment where you feel as a loyalist or a friend that everything that she takes on as an issue or as a problem or as an enemy, that it is your duty to fight on her behalf and to take on whatever that cause is. That's just the environment that she lives in. I think my Wi-Fi is back down. I think I did something wrong.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Yeah. But that's the environment that she exists in. But also tactically, because she does this with the barbs too. Nicki doesn't do her dirty work.
Right.
She lets people do the dirty work for her. Right. So you end up looking crazy, but at the same time, as like I said, a minion or a loyalist, while you end up looking crazy, this is the mad making and the kind of the brilliance of a Nicki, right? At the same time, what she realizes what she's doing is she's eliminating you as well from the atmosphere. Because one day you could be her enemy, but now you're not an enemy yet, and you're not a threat. But she's used you to attempt to eliminate her enemies or to kind of use you to like implode. And now she's doubly got you out the way.
Wow.
Yes.
So is this a specifically female maneuver?
Listen, I've my entire life. I'm a female.
Talk about it.
I'm not. I'm be honest with you guys. I'm not gender non-binary. I have no problem with that. I have a vagina, and I associate that with, I don't know, like that's cool. Like that's what it is. That's what's down there. I know. And innately, my experience in dealing with women in terms of like having the cisgender experience of womanhood. Let me put it like that.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about anybody else. I'm talking about cisgender experience of womanhood. It becomes catty like that, where people are like competing with their friends. I would never compete with a friend.
All right. So my counter question to that would be, is that when certain things intervene from the outer world that then women cause division within each other, or is that some sort of inherent thing to the women that you've seen?
I think that a lot of times people in the outer world too, they will lie, or they will allow you to believe that something's about you that's not about you. Like AKBAR could be like, she could have tweeted, "I can't stand vanilla ice cream," and then somebody will hit up Cardi B and be like, "Oh, she don't like light skinned bitches, and she's talking about you." And Cardi might be like, "Well, damn, she is talking about me," because after she said vanilla ice cream, I think she put her location and she was in the Bronx. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like people do that. People are so unhappy, and people are just so unregulated and terrible sometimes that they will create environments where it's like, if I'm not happy, you are not allowed to be happy either.
Okay. And so what do you think is Nicki's issue right now? Because Super Freaky Girl dropped, what was it, 2-3 weeks ago? Probably more, right? And I'm gonna check right now how high it's charted, because I want to know just for my own information. But I don't feel
it's
like
number one.
Super Freaky Girl is number one?
Yes, number one.
What's crazy to me about that is like, yo, you outside, Koku, and like, I'm not hearing it.
I'll be outside. Like
I'm not hearing it.
Look,
you know what I'm saying?
I'll be outside, bro.
That's
I'm just
real weird to me. I'm like, how is this number one?
I think that when we talk about, and this is something, and again, I don't even know what to do with this, because I'm not saying this as a diss, it's the reality. I think Nicki has created a fan base where it's like the fan base ain't in the streets. Like I remember being a kid.
Okay.
I saw women and men alike bumping Foxy Brown and Lil' Kim.
Yeah.
It was like, this was like, yo, we outside. Like we are outside. Yeah. Foxy and Lil' Kim, you're gonna hear them on Atlanta. You're gonna hear them on Fulton. You're gonna hear them at the barbecues, everything. Yeah. I don't know, and it's so crazy because Nicki's skill level is crazy, but I don't know a universe where like I'm on Nostrin and niggas is playing super bass.
No. I mean, I do think, however, that I think the hood is still with Nicki. I just don't think that has to do with any of her latest music. I think the hood is with her. Like, I think it's still
I agree with that. Southside Jamaica, Queens. Like, you always want to root for the hometown girl too. Like right. Ultimately you want to be able to say like, yo, Nicki is New York.
Yeah. Well, I have the Billboard charts right now. I'm gonna show you.
Okay, show me what it is.
She's 3 right now, but her peak position, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit.
I think it was number 1.
Yeah, it just
I told you
guys. Like, so I'm just so surprised by that.
And it broke a record because it was like because this is the remix with all the girls. But the main one, it's like it was like her first number 1 this decade or something like that, or like ever, just shooting to number 1 by her solo, which is also pretty cute. So here's the thing, like again, I don't ever want to negate anybody's reality. And one thing Nicki Minaj has said is that, I mean, this has a lot to do with her presentation. When I say presentation, we're not talking about aesthetic. What she's done. But one thing she said is that she feels like she has been maybe blacklisted in certain instances. Like just generally speaking, there's no reason in the world that we live in that Nicki Minaj has never had a Grammy.
Yeah, there's no sensible reason.
There's no sensible reason. So when she says that, when she speaks to a place of being like, yo, I've been sabotaged, she's not lying. So those things can be dug into. It's just that when Nicki decides to tell her truths or how she decides to express herself, it might be something that we don't necessarily agree with.
So if she's been sabotaged, but Meg, who, listen, everything I love about Meg and her presentation and brand and appearance and how she moves is all that's great. I just don't think her catalog stands up to Nicki Minaj's catalog in terms of like award-winning worthiness.
And Meg has Grammys.
So it's like, what did you do something to? Because Nicki will gaslight too.
Yeah.
Like, did you do something? It's like, are people just sabotaging you, or are there? Here's the thing. There's definitely people that they didn't come at the right time.
Yes.
Meg came at the exact right time, social sentiment, people to get behind her, even if the music wasn't quite there. Mm-hmm. Even if it was Cardi too. Cardi came at the time, and that is where I understand Nicki's maybe her anger. Like, hey, the music's not there, the pen game isn't there, but they're getting the accolades because it's like Invasion of Privacy as an album was a great album.
That's a great album. Like honestly, like sonically, that's a really great album.
Amazing album. It's like those things came at a time where Nicki had already hit her peak and passed it. And it seemed like those acts were getting there can only be one woman, so therefore we're going to give the current woman the Grammys and awards treatment.
They do that all the time. And like it'll either be that they're going to give the current woman something like it's kind of like just uphold that, or what they'll do is that someone legacy may receive an award just because like, yo, we've been needed to give that person an award. So there's been like, you could tell like there's been definitely pity Grammys people have won.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Pity any award.
In the chat, Laleen says #1 in America. Because I just feel like when you're in New York and you're on the ground,
I don't hear. You know what? I'll tell you what. You know what I hear Nicki records, to be honest with you? Like I'm talking about in the streets. It's like if I'm in an environment where it's like a Caribbean party. And they'll like mix it and they'll like put the BPMs higher and like fat, like that type of thing. That's when I hear Nicki stuff.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think that like, it's hard when you have a legacy act. Like it's weird. I don't want to even use the term legacy act to make.
I hate that.
Yeah,
especially with a woman that's like Nicki's not. To me, I don't think 40 years old.
She's peak and she's still in her prime in terms of what she can do. Like I'll say that. I don't know if she's in her prime in terms of what she's doing.
Right.
But she
absolutely. I don't think 40 is old. Which means though that Nicki and Lil Kim are in the same decade, and Foxy Brown.
Yeah.
Y'all ever think about that?
Oh yeah, no, that's facts. And I mean, it just seems like with Nicki right now, she's opened a doorway that is now so wide open. It's hard maybe for her to accept that there are a lot of options for people. Like there is, like you said, there is the Ice Spice. There is, this AKBAR. I haven't heard a bar. I have heard 0 bars from this person, but it's like she's there for whoever wants her, And I think that's got to be a hard pill to swallow. No pun for Nicki, because it's like, yo, now it seems like y'all are eating off a plate that I created.
I mean, and I think
in her worldview.
Right, exactly. I can understand that. Like, I don't feel that because she's also transitioned from a world where Nicki is like, she's mixtape Nicki too, right? Mm-hmm. So she comes from a world where like she had to really grind and really physically be outside to try to get.
She wasn't a plant.
No, Nicki was not an industry plant. And even when she was rapping with her old group, like she was clearly and far and ahead the dopest rapper in the situation. Like, she just had that it factor.
Yeah.
She always did. So it's like, I think it's at this point, and this is not in defense of anybody, I'm just asking, but I wonder if some of this is more like kind of like, I don't want to use the word old head, but just like old industry versus like streaming industry, where it's like it's hard for these people to understand what life is like right now, because Nicki she predates the SoundCloud rapper era.
Yeah, she does. She does.
Yeah.
But I do think that she's squarely in this environment. Like, she's right in it. Like, I don't think that she's, even in the streaming era, like, she was one of the first to innovate, like, packaging stuff and like packaging remixes with other artists and like using like every potential move that she could to stay relevant, like with videos. I don't know if she's crazy video innovative right now, but she's always been the person to adjust quickly. Like, she's seen you can adjust.
I'm be honest with you, like, I first of all have not physically paid for cable, and I can't even tell you how long, over a decade. Like, when it comes to cable with me, I have logins. So I watch things like piecemeal, like it's a la carte kind of thing. Like, okay, let me check this thing out. Somebody throws me a password or whatever. Or, you know, me, I got my screeners in my other life.
Right.
So, but anyway, and even saying that, when it comes to entertainment and music videos to me are not what drives my interest. Like, I'm streaming stuff. I'm fully immersed in the streaming universe. So like, I'm streaming stuff. So I'm not looking for a song to hit because the visual was on point. That's not how my life works.
Right.
And I think that's, to be honest with you, that's probably part of the problem with Nicki. She's probably looking like, yo, don't y'all see I'm a bad bitch? Y'all fucking with these other girls, and I'm so pretty, and I'm so bad, and I'm so this.
Well, that also goes to the diss wars that happened today, because something Cardi said. What she say? Don't start arms. She said, "Don't start arms." I was like, "Yo, that's actually." I don't think Cardi should do that. Like, I don't think Cardi should be like mixing up about like appearance and like, not because Cardi is amazing and she's beautiful, but it's also like there are these.
Listen, we are all
with her appearance, and like if we go down that road, then it can be even uglier.
My point is, we are all procedures away from looking the way that would make us, you know,
facts.
You know, I guess something that would be media friendly.
Facts.
Everybody has that, you know. I could go to Columbia tomorrow, get my teeth done. You know, I still got my side teeth.
Denzel veneers, baby.
Get my veneers, right? My hair always thinner on this side. I don't know what to do anymore. I was telling you earlier, you got to use white people mousse.
Yeah, no, that was actually good.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's not a hair type thing. White people mousse is really good on black hair. I was telling, you know. But anyway, like, you know, there's so many things. I could go get implants, get something sucked out, added in, you know, all these kinds of things. And then you just become somebody that's, I guess, that's acceptable or that ranks higher. Because
can I show you what Cardi B looked like when she was giving the $100,000 to her school? Can I show you?
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah.
Because I mean, when you say that, it's like, that's why I feel like it's very odd for her to get into these things about appearance.
Before you get into that, Isan says regarding, he said the kids today got earpods and you can't hear what they're listening to unless they're playing it from their phone speakers. The kids today is always playing it from their phone speakers. That's why I hate getting on the effing bus.
No.
Like, I don't want to hear this right now. I'm not in the mood for G Herbo on the B26.
Yeah, they don't care, yo. They're gonna let you know what they're listening to, actually.
Shout out to G Herbo. You know, G Herbo and I have the same birthday.
Oh, really? October 8th?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, you remember it all.
All right, Libra gang.
Yeah, Libra gang. Me, G Herbo, Saucy Santana, and you know what's the best one? You know who shares my birthday?
Who?
Nick Cannon, the daddy of everybody.
Wow. The godfather and real father of the game. Oh my God.
I can't wait to go live and shout him out.
Yeah, okay, so this is Cardi giving $100K to her school.
That's cute. That's cute. I'm not mad at that.
Like, okay. Doesn't that look like Nicki Minaj to you? Like, I feel like she's like, in terms of body alterations.
I'm not gonna. It's not giving Nicki Minaj. It's like it's what everybody's doing. Like everybody's getting that overly snatched. Like if you spent any amount of time, and I'm going to specifically say Atlanta and Miami, and I might even say specifically Atlanta is a great place to just see this in action too. These folks are out here getting stuff so sucked out and snatched. It's just what it is.
Wow. So it's like this is the silhouette now.
That's the silhouette now. So it's like we're not keeping up. But then you see when you keep up with the Kardashians, they getting shit taken out.
They're taking it
They're
out.
like, yo, we going back to the white folks universe.
Yeah, y'all look too cartoonish.
We not doing that no more.
Yeah. But do you think it's gonna pay off for Cardi to keep going this direction, and then also even sniping about appearance-based stuff? It's like
I'm never going to act like it's okay with me to come at anybody's appearance. You know what I'm saying? Like I just that's never been something that since I was a kid. Like I've just never really been down with that. And like again, I come from a universe or an environment where I was a dark-skinned kid. So I was never expected or looked at as the pretty girl, right? Like it wasn't. So it was like, okay, well, let me settle into whoever I am then. If that person's pretty,
insanity. That's insanity to me.
I'm just gonna be funny, right?
Right. But I mean, the thing that gets me about this whole thing is like, kind of what I was saying earlier. Like this has now gone beyond the wars between the people themselves. Like
what did I tell you? What did I tell you how these things go?
What?
See, you got the lower thirds on here. We're doing all like really high production style stuff. I'm trying to tell y'all. What did I tell you how these things go? And then you got these people that it's dirty work out there because a lot of these people, they got guns. I just think somebody got robbed in Queens. Did you see that? The guy got robbed in Queens. He was at his door. His doorstep, just coming home at like 1:30 in the morning. Yeah. It's like happened like last night. And somebody came and like they pulled up on him and like pulled the gun out. This dude is out here like slapping guns out the way and trying to like. I'm like, yo, bro, like, what do you have on you that is so important to you? And it turns out that another guy came up, a second person, not the shooter, and stole he had a Rolex on him allegedly because everybody gets robbed. They get robbed for like $500,000 now, right? Yeah. Oh yeah. You got a Rolex and Corona. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, you right, bro. You right. The same nigga that be borrowing sugar. Okay. I get it. Whatever. Anyway, I don't know. I'm just talking crazy right now. I'm talking greasy, but go ahead.
So what is going on? Who's Kyle? Like I saw Nicki tweeting about somebody named Kyle, and now I'm lost. Like I didn't know who RV was to start, and now Kyle's involved.
First of all, I love the I'm in the Black blogger universe. So like I said, I'm not pretending to be someone that's not absorbing this information, that's not entertained by it. It wouldn't be my life. I'm not acting like I'm not entertained by it. So Kyle is the person that is the CEO of the Neighborhood Talk. Yeah.
Okay.
So
is he one of the people who's on a side of a particular person in this war?
I'm not gonna come for Kyle because I don't think there's a reason to. What I will say is this: when you look at all these major blogs, and I'm gonna just shout out some really like strong ones, like that kind of keep up with the news. Yeah. The Jasmine Brand, Hollywood Unlocked, On Site, the Neighborhood Talk, the Shade Room.
Yes.
Those are the ones that comes to mind like immediately. Baller Alert.
Yeah.
When you look at all these blogs, these blogs don't like what I will say about TMZ, they'll break news because they got a motherfucker that like is like underneath the casket type shit. Like, okay, we're live on location. I'm in the hospital administering his IV. You know what I'm saying? Like they just be like, no, TMZ, they be like, yo, this reporting on the ground shit is y'all taking this to another level. Like y'all some sneaky, dirty, crazy people. Yeah. But so I'm not trying to pretend like TMZ is some kind of like ethical outlet in that sense, but TMZ does their kind of work where they just report. They don't pretend to be friends of the show, so to speak. Right. What I will say is that when we go into this Black blogger universe, which is the issue here is that a lot of these folks are not truly, purely journalists. So it's important for them to maintain these relationships with these people. You got bloggers that'll be like, let me text Nicki real quick, because and it's like that's what a blogger does. A journalist is like, I don't want to talk to Nicki because I value her, I love her, but to be objective, I can't keep this relationship anything more than that.
So who's more important right now, the journalists or the bloggers?
I think the bloggers are more important.
Wow.
People are trying. Okay, for instance, I'll be the first one to tell you that journalism is dead. And I went to school for journalism.
Right.
And I'll be the first one to tell you that journalism is dead, because motherfuckers is out here just saying anything, doing anything, not thinking about the ramifications. They're also just like hurting people. Wow. And that was what was so crazy and landmark about Cardi's case. Is like, you can't just be talking shit about people. Right.
Now, we talked a little bit about how, now Nicki is in some litigation over bloggers. Cardi has been in some litigation over bloggers.
And she won.
Yeah. But does that then change the landscape for the Nickis and Cardis of the world, where now you could get sued? Maybe you tweeting something about a Kyle, because like I noticed that Neighborhood Talk removed the post after Nicki was saying.
Well, there's let me stop you right there. There's processes in place, and we've all been there. So like I've been in a situation where I was in a blogging situation where we just blogged something reckless, right? Or just something that was just and so the person sent a cease and desist. There's a process in place. You can't sue me until you tell me that the action is inappropriate. So you send me the cease and desist, and then I react accordingly. Or, hey, listen, it's facts. And that's what happened to Tierra Marie, and that's why she lost her case against 50 Cent, because he's like, yo, I didn't put this out here.
Right.
You in this situation. And it's unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not, we don't want to see a woman getting bullied or having her to pay a man that don't need her money, clearly. But you put yourself in a situation where you made yourself a target, because now you're messing with his integrity.
Right.
And whatever you think about 50 Cent in that situation, he didn't act like, it wasn't a great moment for him, but he wasn't the reason.
So is it going to be a world where, kind of like what happened with some of these athletes, where they just have their own publications, like they just have their own outlet?
No. People like salaciousness, people like craziness, and it's like celebrities give you so much fuel through their social media feeds now. They're gone are the days of somebody being so inaccessible in a Beyonce sense, where you really just truly don't know them.
Right.
We don't know anything about Beyonce. You could speculate a lot of things about Beyonce. I've seen many pictures of Beyonce where she clearly looked punch drunk. But they kind of swipe it out. Like we're not supposed to know that about her.
Yeah.
And then Beyonce has very little presence on social media. We're not talking about Beyonce on social media like that.
Right.
Well, rather, she's not talking on social media like that. We're talking about Beyonce because she's an enigma. We want to know more. But whenever we hear Beyonce talk, there's always criticism about how she talks, and people wonder about her.
Yeah.
We don't have.
It's like she has this luxury because she's the biggest star in the world. But
right.
Part of that is built by the fact that she holds a lot back.
So
I don't think
stop sharing so much.
But I do think that there's this world where one of the big battles in the female rap wars was when Queen Radio went on the other week. And then another huge thing that Cardi was just saying today was like, oh, Barty Gang, when I get on live. Like, so they are really using these like almost like publications.
I think that the most important thing that we have to people have to understand about what today is about. And I bring that back to when I was talking about SoundCloud, like back to like SoundCloud, when we were talking about streaming and like Spotify, things like that. The most important thing about today is people consume information very differently than they did back in the day. Like people are expecting you to like want to see them at an in-store and like, oh my God, I'm going to buy this person's CD and like, this is my favorite artist in the world. So that's not how the world operates today. Now the entire world today is like streaming and SoundClouds, let's say, and like YouTubes and like Twitter and nonsense and socials. It's just a different world.
Does that take away from anything that you could be doing to like make your album? Do you think like with a Nicki or with a Cardi, like, you know, invasion of privacy, you know, she's got this war going on with the blogger Tasha K, and some of it, you know, there's a lot of out of pocket attacks back and forth. But one of the things that Tasha K has said is like, hey, you haven't put the album out. And like, it does take a lot of, I think, concentration and a lot of like isolation to put together a great piece of work.
I think I think Cardi B unexpectedly put out like a really well sequenced and produced album.
Yeah.
In a way that nobody really expected. And it was kind of one of those things that like literally to me, and this might sound like I'm putting a lot of weight on her, but it was like levels of like Rihanna's Anti, like in terms of like it just being perfect for its moment, right?
Oh yeah.
So, you know, we're not even considering the anxiety that happens in that. Like what do I do from here? Like you guys were second guessing me forever. You didn't think I was gonna make it. I started off being just a hilarious YouTuber and an influencer, just doing my thing. Ended up on Love and Hip Hop. Then in an unprecedented move, like she was able to use that Love and Hip Hop move to make a career that is just like no one would have expected this to happen from a Love and Hip Hopper.
Right.
So now you have all these variables. Then you got like the queen in the moment is beefing with you. She hates you. Now, I don't even fucking know you. And you over here being the big blood from the Bronx. She over here being Southside Jamaica Queens. I'm fucking with the big blood. Queen, like it's just too much. It's too much New Yorkie, social media. It's just too much going on.
Yeah. It's a little like low key Trini wars, like diaspora wars too.
And you know, and that's the thing. Onika is Trini.
Yeah.
Cardi B is Trini too.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of like a little undercurrents of like, I want to be the main one of this.
I feel good about that.
I don't feel good about.
Shout out to Queen Trini, Nia Long.
Yo, Nia Long. Yo,
email Doc. I wanted to play that kind of game with you.
Yeah, shout out to my heart go out.
Your heart goes out.
You know what I'm saying? My special hearts, all my hearts. You know what I mean? You know how I feel about black women over 40. Black women over 40.
Oh, you did say that. Yeah, you're like, oh, that's your bag.
Undefeated, yo.
Wait. So you said your love life has taken all these like crazy like places, right?
Sure. Yeah.
What are you doing having drama with black women over 40? I would think black women over 40 would be more mature or armed to deal with that.
Oh no, I mean fuckery is ageless. You know, like,
like oh, you got this all wrong.
Yeah, I'm like, look, if anything is like evidenced by Ime Udoka is that you just got to do the personal work, bro. Like you got to do the personal work to like just be on your shit, like be a person of good character and composition. Because like fuckery is also available. Like the more you decide to do it, the more available it becomes. So I think it's like when you want to be mixy, you can be. There's lots of opportunities in every age bracket, unfortunately, to be very mixy and terrible. And you just have to like choose not to do that. And I feel like not a lot of black men choose that.
Oh man, that's yikes.
Can women be friends? I don't know. Can black men not cheat? I have no idea. These are like the questions.
Well, Charlamagne thinks that black men don't cheat.
I've heard. You know, shout out to him and everything that he tries to represent. I am so happy we had this conversation, and whether or not we answered this question about whether women can be friends, I don't know. But can women be friends and rap superstars? I think the answer on that is no.
That might be no. Yeah, that might be no. And I think it's very much so focused on the current environment that we're in. I don't think it would have been this bad had like it been like 10, 15 years ago.
Really? You think so?
Because remember, like the 10, 15 years ago was so focused on one rap woman being the only person like that was, you know, because prior to Nicki, it was kind of like Lil' Kim standing alone because Foxy Brown just clocked out.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, it was like right now, you're right. It was so isolated, and right now it's like even these little proxy wars can start to pop off based on two big acts going head to head all the time.
And I want to say something about Meg real quick too, because I don't feel like I got this out. The one thing I appreciate about Meg and Glorilla specifically is that even though they may not be, I guess when people think of like super lyrical, miracle, top tier rapper type things, like that's kind of probably what would be the pushback. Sure. I feel like they are very, very, very regional flavors. They are people that super represent where they're from. And yes. I think I find that to be very refreshing just as a listener. Like when I hear Meg, I 1,000% hear Houston. So no, it may not be timeless outside of Houston, but it's still a moment and it's still important.
Yes, absolutely. Shout out to all the female rappers, current and aspiring. I'm really happy that there are options. And I don't think that intrinsically women can't be friends, but I do think that there are so many social factors acting on whether or not women can get ahead that, in fact, many times they're forced to turn on each other in ways that just don't
even realize that they're being weaponized. That's the problem. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, right. Not even realizing it.
That's totally fair. All right. I mean, this has been a great live.
It's been so great. I might go live after this by myself. I'm charged.
I see you already getting pumped.
Like, yo, I got more to say. This nigga gotta go. This nigga about to go on like 15 dates and shit. Like he's on a fucking bender. Like, nah, I'm supposed to go live.
Yo.
What else did I not talk about?
Shout out to everybody in the chat. Yo, this is Unhinged Live. This has been such a great episode.
Thank you.
I'm gonna hit the subscribe button. Y'all should hit it too.
Hit the subscribe button. Are you gonna hit it now?
Nah, I'm gonna hit the little subscribe video.
What are you talking about? Oh, okay, I'm about to say like, no, we about to be going live. How you not subscribing? You own the motherfucker. Like, what are we doing? I hate this show.
Yo.
I'm gonna go live after this. I'm not gonna lie.
Yo, stay tuned in. Stay tuned in for Koku's real thoughts on can women be friends?
Oh yeah, because I was trying to keep it cute.
Yo, we're gonna see.
We about to get the uncensored version.
I'm about to be tuned in. All right, y'all. Peace.
Exactly. Get yourself beat up, bitch.
Thanks for checking out the Unhinged Podcast with Koku Puff and Drew Breez. If you like what you see, make sure you like, subscribe,